see them. And I think a lot of the process has to do with us knowing individuals that have developmental disabilities. Before I started working in the field, as I mentioned, my history was limited in knowing anybody with a disability or anybody that was termed mentally retarded at that particular point in time. And as I've been in the field, I've got to know people with disabilities as people. And as Megan mentioned, my wife and I have a program now that's called Expanding Your Horizons. And one of the things that we do is we help people be out in the community. I was with a vendor just this past week, and one of the things that I was telling him about our program, what we do is we take people out in the community. And as normal as that seems to us now, he was like, wow, I mean, people don't have to be hidden anymore in their homes. They can actually go out to the community. And until folks are able to be more and more out in the community and be part of who we are and what we do, then that is the way I think that we're going to be able to change the attitudes and the concepts. As you meet individuals with developmental disabilities or intellectual disabilities or with some type of challenges, that's how you will be able to communicate with individuals, be able to treat them as individuals and not as folks with disabilities. And all the pictures that you see of the individuals here are individuals that would be described today as having an intellectual disability, with maybe the exception of the cat that's on there from the Columbus crew. But we're able to help folks by taking them into the community, by being part of the community. You know, the word retarded, as it's used today, is reflective of how at one time we felt and used that word to represent individuals with disabilities. In 1910, when the word idiot was a common term to describe folks with intellectual disabilities, there were idiot clubs that were developed across the United States. And those idiot clubs were not for individuals with disabilities. They were there to make fun of individuals that were then classified as folks with an intellectual disability. You know, I think the word retarded is fading out, but legislation and movements are not necessarily going to be the thing that's going to make the word go away. It's going to be as we develop relationships with individuals with developmental disabilities. You know, the movement that is going on now, Spread the Word to End the Word, is a wonderful movement. And certainly there's a opportunity for pledging tomorrow, meeting at the Rock throughout the day to take that pledge. You can pledge online as well. Over 200,000 people have pledged online as of today. When I checked, it was like 200,044 that just broke the 200,000 mark as that part of the movement. But in the same way that imbecile was at one time the word to describe individuals with developmental disabilities and became a derogatory term, you know, when you look online and do a search of imbecile, it's still out there. And I've got about 2,500,000 uses of that word still today. Whereas if you look at and do a search of the word retarded, there's over 39 million hits on that particular word. So as you can see, imbecile has faded. There's 37 more million times that the word retarded is now used to describe the same type of intellectual disability that was being described by the word imbecile at the previous turn of the other century. So I'd encourage you to take a look at the www.ourword.org. Join these ladies and other people tomorrow at the Rock, their Best Buddies organization. Think about what you need to do in your own attitudes and thoughts in regards to the use of the word retarded, of retard, and recognize that it does potentially hurt other people, even if you don't mean for it to. It does potentially have that impact on other individuals. Again, legislation is not going to change that. Movements are not going to change that. It's going to be individually, you and I, as we talk within ourselves, as we talk with other people, that's going to be able to change that particular concept. I want to thank you for your your time this evening. We'd be glad to answer any questions you might have about our experience, or about our understanding of the R word. We are expanding your horizons. If you want to check out what we're doing in Ohio in regards to working with individuals with developmental disabilities, you can take a look at our website at eyservices.com. And Megan, I don't know if you want to take any opportunities for any questions. If you want to come down and talk with us afterwards, we'll be here for a while yet. And I apologize for not keeping you for the entire hour. I know it's disappointing for many of you. Megan, anything else?
That's basically it. Just remember to come by and see us tomorrow after Rock, where you can sign your pledge. If it's raining, we'll be moving inside to the bulletin board. So you'll find it will be there, so you can come and sign your pledge. And does anyone have any questions that they want to ask right now?
One of the things I noticed on actually one of the posters today was that one of the posters is promoting the event tomorrow. Was somebody had written down at the bottom of the poster that's talking about the pledge and about ending the R word. They'd written down at the bottom of the poster, "Oh my God, that is so dumb." And I guess that's an improvement over saying that it's so retarded, that they chose to put on there that it's so dumb. But still, even on this campus and in other places, certainly, the concept of ending the R word is something that people don't see any reason to do. And I don't believe that's a reflection on folks that are here tonight, certainly. But again, I think it's kind of positive that they said it was dumb and not that it was retarded.
I would agree. And I want to thank everybody for being here, including the whole Beha family and Alicia for putting all this together. I'd also like to open up Best Buddies as an organization for any of you who want to learn more about the population that we're talking about here. They really are people, and even if you don't want to join, I would encourage you to come to some of our events just to see that they really are people and they need advocates. So we have a lot of fun, don't we?
There was a question up here in the back. Yes, ma'am.
Right. You said that people in the medical field use the term higher and lower functioning to describe people with developmental disabilities.
Yes.
Do you think that those labels should be given to them at all, or should individuals be each given an individual?
That's a very good question. I think certainly in our efforts to try to be able to figure out a way to serve individuals and meet their needs, that is the reason why labels have been put on. Her question, if you didn't hear it, was whether or not we should even still use the terms higher functioning and lower functioning to describe the individuals with intellectual disabilities. And I think you're right. I think the concept of just being an individual is certainly the best way to look at folks with intellectual disabilities, or any of us, as unique individuals and what we have to offer to those around us. But the idea clinically of being able to describe where folks are at and how to meet their needs, I think is one of the reasons that is in there. But I think the field is continuing to struggle with how to use those terms. Even when we talk about the American Association for Intellectual Disabilities, one of the reasons, that was one of the terms they were looking at using, just the American Association of Intellectual Disabilities, but they felt that didn't describe everybody. And that's why they wanted to use the term developmental disability, because developmental disability is inclusive today of folks with intellectual disabilities, but also individuals that may have cerebral palsy, may have epilepsy, or some other type of disability. But yeah, the idea of trying to find a way of using some terms that make sense today. I really think, when I look back 30 years ago in the 1980s when we were doing the deinstitutionalization, at that point in time, a lot of people thought developmental centers was the best thing for individuals. They really believed that taking people out of the society and putting them into a center where they could get help was what was best for them. I can only imagine 30 years from now, when people look back at what we're doing today, they'll be scratching their heads and wondering, why were they doing that? Why were they saying those things? It could be in the next 20 years that developmental becomes the slang word. Oh, you're a developmental, as opposed to being the word that we accept as today. It's evolving. I think the important thing is that we do continue to view individuals just exactly as that, as unique individuals that have something to offer each one of us. Good question. Any other questions? Katie, Megan, Alicia, anything else?
Don't forget to come out tomorrow and pledge. If the weather is not permitting, we'll be at the bulletin boards inside Colquitt. And we're also having lunch with some of our buddies at 11:30 in the Commons, if anybody would like to join us.
And if anybody wants to come down and say hi to Matthew and the rest of us, please feel free to stop down. Matthew, want to stand up? He'd be glad to meet you. Turn on everybody. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.